Hi, it's Brian Newman with the Spotlight of Business Owner Show, and today we're thrilled to have John Tarr with website and graphic design guru. Hi, John. How are you?
Good morning. How are you today, Brian?
Yeah, good, good. Yeah, so Ed, you got a phenomenal business. I really love what you do, and I know you've been doing it for quite a while. Can you let people know how did you get into the website and graphic design business?
Well, back in about 2008, I actually went back to school, Scottsdale Community College for graphic design. And then I graduated in 2018 with a graphic design certificate, not a certificate, but a degree. So that's how I got into it. I actually was a painting contractor for a couple of years, for many years. And then I also ran a photography studio with my family. We shot a lot of weddings and things like that, but I was a photographer and I shot wildlife and scenic shots too on my own. But I wanted to go back and learn graphic design. In the process, I actually took um, some website design, but it was all using code.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and then after I graduated, I actually discovered WordPress. And because I didn't like doing websites in code. It was just not me. I'm a visual person. And so I use WordPress with a very powerful theme called Divi, and it allows me to drop and drag all the information. So I actually use a lot of my graphic art skills to make a lot of the things that go into the website. I'm very well versed in all the Adobe products like Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, and I do Premiere Pro for videos too.
Oh, so, I know there's just like any field that we're in, even mine, the networking business, there's competition. What makes yours unique from others?
Um, I I tried to limit, but I do websites all across the board. But I am very well versed in the services like building trades and things like that because I did have a painting contracting business, and I build websites for those type of services, and I do some extraordinary website designs for photographers because I was a photographer. I have an intimate knowledge of both those two types of businesses. And something else that I've been really doing a lot of building websites for is nonprofit. And I'm actually building a website now, well, I just finished it, for a organization in Africa, in Nairobi. She has a school there of 60 kids, and I kind of did that one pro bono because I wanted to give back. Nonprofits, so many of them need a lot of help, and it's been very interesting connecting with them because she doesn't have a computer and everything she sends me is off her cell phone. But
Oh,
that's very interesting too.
oh,
So
yeah.
I kind of work in those areas, but that's a big area when you start doing services, building trades like painters, plumbers, electricians. Um, they're fairly complicated, and the information that they have to get out. Uh, let's say it's a painter, and they want to give a free estimate right off the website. So we've hooked up so they can send us information about what needs to be painted. Is it an exterior, interior? And then there's a place where they can send photographs of what they've taken of the thing that needs to be painted. So then,
Okay.
but it's not a guaranteed estimate because we really have to. The painter really has to go out and take a look at it because there's always. But at least it gets them in the ballpark. Photographers, we've set up a setup where it shows all the photographs. They can press individual images and it makes it much bigger, and they can really see. And then One of the things I'm really big in having, telling people is to do a lot of blogging off their business website. It
Why
makes
is that?
them look, that they know what they're talking about. In the case of the photographer, there was 27 blog posts on different things on painting, what type of primer to use, how do you know that your house needs to be painted from the outside, all these kind of
Oh,
things. The photographer, their blog was when they photographed a wedding at a different venue, they would post up maybe 50 photographs from that venue, and they would talk about the venue.
oh,
Same
okay.
thing with the nonprofit. You do a blog about that, about what's going on in their world. So that, and that's really big because the SEO that goes into the blog has feet all by itself, just like the SEO for the pages. The blog also has that. And something that a lot of people don't know, if you post up things on YouTube, YouTube is owned by, who's YouTube owned by? They're owned
Google,
by
Google.
Google. And Google is the one that actually put into SEO, search engine optimization.
Uh-huh.
So your videos all should have really good SEO on it because they show up all by themselves too, independent
Okay.
of everything else. And you can also load up a video on Facebook too, and they have a place for you to do all your SEO. So that's very important information to know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, John, yeah, before we keep going, I want to remind our viewers that we're talking to John Tarr. What's the best way they can get in touch with you if they want to sign up with your services?
Well, I have a website they can come in and take a look at and look at different things, and they can communicate with me. My telephone is right behind you, right there, and it's also above my head.
So
So
to
they can,
313-0929, that's the best one.
yeah, that's the best one. And then I also have a website, a separate website that is John Tarr Portfolio. That just has, I don't really sell anything on it. It just has the different type of work I've done in the past, the graphic arts. I do logos. One of my favorite things to design is newsletters for different organizations using InDesign. InDesign makes PDF copies, it makes books, it makes multiple pages, where Illustrator does just one page where you do your logo and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. John, yeah, I was going to ask you, so who's your ideal client?
I guess my ideal client right now would be a photographer, anybody in a building trade that needs a website done, nonprofit, but informational websites. If they want to sell stuff on it, we can set it up that way too, using different shopping carts and things like that that can do that.
That was another question I had. Do you do shopping carts?
Yeah,
Because I heard
yeah,
that's really complicated. I know for the viewers, can you explain what that is? Because it is a very valuable thing to have on your site.
yeah. So if you're trying to sell something, different product, then that's when you use a shopping cart. It's a WooCommerce. They call it WooCommerce.
Oh,
And WooCommerce actually connects with the
oh,
website itself. And
oh,
then it allows them to put products up in there to sell. And it has a separate type of SEO that is for each product that needs to go in there, and how to find it, how to price it. Then it brings it into the shopping cart, and then they have to have it shipped and all that kind of thing. And you use things like Shopify and PayPal to pay for it. How do you set all that up? And it's got to be set up so the money is funneled into their bank account, and that's all got to be
oh,
set up through the website for them to be able to do that.
oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I know you are really great at graphic design. You do logos. And what other graphic design services do you offer?
Well, a lot of people think because we're in the digital age, they don't have anything printed anymore, and that's really not true. It's probably more important if they have to have a mailer that goes out. If they, like I said, with my newsletter, needs to be printed up for companies, organizations. We make it into a printed form as well as a digitized, and then we also make flyers too. Set up and design flyers that can be printed. And then if I do the logo, then I usually set up and make their business card for them too, front and back.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so do you sell these like in a package? Is there a minimum? How do you do that?
Well, I actually have on my website different places that they can go to. Let's say it's the website design. And a lot of my packages, I have different, depending on how big the website needs to be, how many pages and how involved it is. But I also have in there that we host it too. We use a place
Oh,
called SiteGround. We don't use like Bluetooth or GoDaddy or anything like that because they're very slow. One of the things that rates your website on the internet through Google especially is how fast your website opens. If you use one of these really cheap, like I said, GoDaddy, Bluehost, and there's a bunch of them, your
mm-hmm.
website opens up very slowly. So they give you a real bad rating. So you need to have,
Oh,
so I actually host the website for a company for, let's say, for 6 months or a year. It gets up and running and functioning, and then I have them transfer it over to their own account, but it's through a very powerful, fast hosting account. So they will never have another problem with it. So, and that was one of the biggest things, one of the most frustrating things in the beginning, because I did use GoDaddy for hosting, but they
yeah.
were very slow for me to build a website, number one, and number two, for people to get in there. People have they're very frustrated if their website doesn't open. People have no patience anymore. So if their website doesn't open within the first 3 to 4 seconds, they move on. And you don't want them to move on from your business.
Oh,
Your,
okay.
your website is your storefront of what you do. And you want to make that looking as sweet as possible, but also you can make the most beautiful website in the world, but unless it has really good SEO, and I'm very good at designing search engine optimization so your website can be found, that needs to be
Oh,
done correctly too.
so that's included when you do a website, you add the
Yes,
SEO automatically.
yeah,
Oh, that's great.
absolutely. I know there's a lot of website designers that don't do it, and they
Yeah.
pass it off to somebody else. But no, when I build a thing, this beautiful storefront for you, then I get all the correct SEO. It's like if you have a storefront on the street, but you don't have any signs,
Uh-huh.
nobody knows what it is. So I build a sign for it that
Oh, I
goes
see.
out on Google and Bing and any of the major search engines.
Oh, okay. Yeah, John, can you remind the viewers another time, how to get in touch with you, how to sign up with you, and about those packages you offer?
Yeah, we go through my I don't have it here in front of me, but it's the best websites dot Google, websites and graphic design dot Google, and that's what it.
Oh, and
So
this phone number is a good one for them to call, 602
yes,
313 0929. Yeah, reach out to them. I'll tell you, yeah, John, I know I've known you for a short time, but he's very easy to work with, very down to earth. There's no hidden agenda. You're very upfront about everything. And yeah, I appreciate everything you do. Do you want to let our viewers know one more time, like any last minute comment before we
uh,
sign off?
no, I guess if you have questions, let's say I always ask people, when was the last time, if you have a website that's actually functioning already, when was the last time you had it redesigned? And that's a big question because things change in the digital world. Within a year or two, things change very drastically. Does a website open quickly? Does it? One of the things that we've been connecting now lately is a text messaging service right off your website and goes directly to your cell phone, and people can text message you and have a live conversation, and that's very big. Because a lot of people don't want to call, or they don't want to even do the contact information, but they would like to have. And then, but I'll sit and talk with you as long as it takes to cover all your questions that you might have on either building a website from scratch or redesigning your website.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, John, we got to run, but yeah, thank you so much for being on the show. It's great to meet you. And if you're viewing this, reach out to John Tarr, website and graphic design guru at 602-313-0929. So yeah, thank you very much, John. Good to see you.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Okay.